Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, the Avatar Wolf, and normally I'd have at least one or two people here with me today to be doing the picks. However, my co-host Potter is sick tonight, so he will not be here to actually put in predictions. And yeah, there's that reason right there alone. And I believe Crusher's busy doing some other stuff. I don't think he actually wants to be involved in this anyways that much. And plus, you'll see Crusher's picks on Friday during the short video, as we always do. So we're going to get through these games here. As you know, like Potter knows, the show must go on. It's week 7 here in the NFL. We got a lot to discuss and a lot to cover. So let's get opening here and let's do it. The Saints for Thursday Night Football is going to take on the Arizona Cardinals. This is going to be a fun game, ladies and gentlemen. I can guarantee you that. Both teams are 2-4 this season. The Saints coming off of a loss to Cincinnati in what was a grueling match. The Cardinals losing to the Seahawks 19-9. Very close game, but very closer. It was more of a blowout actually compared to the score. The Seahawks had all the advantage in that game. Man, I don't know what's going on with the Arizona Cardinals this season. I know they just lost Marquise Brown. They went out and they got Robbie Anderson from the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if that's going to do that much any good. The Saints, though, are kind of downhill as well. It's a very interesting season this year for both these teams. And a very interesting matchup here for Thursday Night Football tomorrow on Prime. The winner here is gonna be Jeff Bezos, of course, because he, I don't know who to pick in this matchup. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. The Cardinals are favored by 2 points by Vegas standards in the spread. I just don't really trust the Saints that much, man. They haven't really impressed me this season. I know the Cardinals are 0-3 at home, but they should be able to get the job done against the Saints, in my honest opinion. I don't see them having trouble against the Saints. I mean, who's the starting quarterback for Saints right now? Is it Winston or is it someone else? I think it's Dalton. They're saying Winston to start. Oh, they're saying, okay, Dalton's going to start for the Saints. So, yeah, Dalton's starting for the Saints. Dalton's been actually decent this year, man. I mean, he hasn't really impressed too much per se, but I mean, take a look at last week against the Bengals. His former team, he had, not the best, actually. Now looking at it, only 162 yards and a touchdown. I mean, he's playing a game-managing position here, guys. He's trying to game-manage the game, and you need a quarterback that can take over the game nowadays in the NFL. But with injuries, of course, that's bound to happen. Kyler Murray should be able to pull this one out. He should be able to carry this team to a win at least and go 3-4 this season. As for the Saints, I think they're slowly going downhill, and they're tanking for a new quarterback. I think that's going to do it for that game. Let's go on to our next game as we got the Atlanta Falcons at the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, these are going to go quickly, fast pace here, but let's talk about the Falcons for a minute. They're coming in and they're winning games, man. Last week they beat the Niners. I mean, that was shocking in my opinion, 28-14. This team is playing. I like the head coach. I must say, who's ever the head coach right now of the Atlanta Falcons is getting the job done. Let's see who the head coach is real quickly, just so I know. Where does it say their coach roster? Is it in their roster? Fine, Atlanta Falcons. Head. I know it's a new head coach because they got rid of their old one last season. Okay, it's Arthur Smith. I figured it was Arthur Smith, but I wasn't quite sure, and I don't want to give you guys misinformation and just pretend like I knew. But Arthur Smith has been doing a really good job this season. He's getting this team that's full of basically bums. They should not be 3-3 this season, in my honest opinion. The Falcons should be worse than that. The Falcons should be one of the worst teams in the league. But this team is thriving, man. Marcus Mariota is not doing too bad. Last week, I don't think he threw an interception at all, did he? No, he threw 2 touchdowns. He game managed the shit out of the Niners, but hey, it worked out well for Atlanta. As for the Bengals, they came off a big win against the Saints last week, but I mean, the Bengals are kind of a toss-up team this year. They're not like the dominant Bengals team we saw last season. Jamar Chase actually questionable play this game, and so is T. Higgins for Sunday game against the Falcons. But I think this is an easy game for me to pick, and I think it's going to be the Bengals easily against the Falcons. I know I'm giving a team like the Atlanta Falcons a lot of praise for what they've done this season, and they can pull out games like this against the Bengals that are having a bad, sloppy time in the football game right now, but I don't see the Bengals slopping around for so long. I mean, the Bengals, like, they've been questioning here, back and forth here right now this season. Burrow looks like he's finally starting to get in his groove again. I'm going to take the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to easily beat the Falcons. And this is going to be a dogfight, actually. I don't think it's going to be that easy, but I think they're going to at least win by 10 points or more. So, yeah, give me the Bengals over the Falcons. Up next, we got the Detroit Lions at the Dallas Cowboys. Man, I do these long videos, and usually it takes like 15 minutes for us to get through one game. But with me doing it by myself, we're only at 5-6 minutes in the video, and we're only gone through 3 games so far. This is gonna be a short one, ladies and gentlemen. What to say about this game here is Dak Prescott playing for the Cowboys is the question right now. I know Cooper Rush had a bad week against the Eagles, and he is going to return. So Dak Prescott's coming back for the Cowboys to take on the Detroit Lions. This is actually a perfect game for Dak's first game back. Now, I say that because I don't think the Cowboys are going to be throwing the ball that much against the Detroit Lions this week. I think they're going to run it. The run game has been working. Tony Pollard has been really great this season. So has Ezekiel Elliott. Just expect the Cowboys to pound the rock and not pass too much. And that's what made Cooper Rush actually looking like an actually subpar quarterback. The run game's been working for the Dallas Cowboys, and that's why Cooper Rush has succeeded. And last week, it basically got floundered because of an early 17 or 20 point lead by the Eagles. And the Cowboys just couldn't come back from that game. The Lions coming off of 3 big L's in a row, losing New England 29-0. This is a easy win game for me to pick here. I'm taking the Cowboys. This defense is legit. Micah Parsons should have a field day against Jared Goff here. And I know Jared Goff and the Lions might have one of the best offenses in the NFL right now, at least point-wise. I don't see their actual ranking here, sadly, but they have a lot. They have a good offense for total yards through a game. But I'm taking the Cowboys here easily. The defense is just too strong for the Cowboys. And plus, it's Dak's return in Dallas. I just don't see Dak losing a game against the Lions, especially this early in the season for the Lions. Because let's be honest, that Dan Campbell team is not ready yet for, let's say, playoff football. Is it in Detroit? All right, up next, I think this is going to be a sleeper game of the week. It's going to be the Colts at the Titans. We've seen these two teams play each other already, I believe. Yes, the Tennessee Titans won against the Colts 24-17. And that is really, the Colts have finally sparked their offense going forward. Last week, Matt Ryan came out and showed off against Jacksonville. I believe the actual let me find out the stats here for that game real quickly. Yeah, here they are. Matt Ryan had almost 80% completion percentage, 389 yards pass, and 3 touchdowns. Not bad for Matt Ryan here. Oh, man. Matt Ryan, man. If he can do that against the Tennessee Titans, I don't see the Titans winning this game. I'm sorry, Titan fans, but I just don't. I don't see you win this game if the Colts can get some offensive going. But for the Tennessee Titans, last 3 games are all wins, and one of those teams in that win column is the Colts for the Titans. And I believe they're coming off a bye week, aren't they? Yeah, they're coming off a bye week last week. So they're more rested up and they're ready to go here against the Colts. And I think that's going to be the deciding factor here against the Indianapolis Colts is the bye week in general. The Titans coming more fresh into this game against the Colts than the Colts are. They just came into a grueling battle beating Jacksonville in Indy. But now they got to go back in Tennessee against a team that's rested after the bye week. Give me the Titans easily in this game. I don't see it being much of a contest. Actually, it's going to be a dogfight. I keep saying it's not going to be much of a contest. I am messing up, guys. This is going to be a dogfight. This is for the division, in my opinion, for both these teams. One team that wins this game is going to be the division leader. The other team is not going to be, and it's going to remain that way for the rest of the season, more than likely. So, yeah. Give me the Titans over the Colts, but it's going to be a fight for the division in the AFC South. So the struggling Packers go into Washington on the Washington Commanders. I think it's time to question what Aaron Rodgers is doing for Green Bay, and if it's Rodgers' fault and if it's not Rodgers' fault. I am pretty sure Rodgers, and I've had this brought up to me this week about Green Bay, but is it Rodgers that has made the successful Green Bay Packers, or is it the receiving core that he's been around for so many years? Look at his career. Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams. I mean, the list can go on and on about great receivers. Just naming 2 off the top of my head. I can even name more if I actually searched up. I mean, Randall Cobb, there's 3 off the top of my head. But, like, look at the slew of Green Bay Packer receivers that Aaron Rodgers have played with. Let's take a look. Driver, I believe, was, Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson. I think Greg Jennings was actually around for Rodgers. Donald Driver might have been around for Rodgers, too. When did Rodgers actually join Green Bay? That's the question. But you guys get my point. Rodgers had so many receivers around him, and now that he doesn't have the receiving core around him, the Packers are kind of looking weak. They're kind of looking vulnerable, and it shows that 3-3 record this season. I mean, they're not even first in their division. Minnesota is up by 2 games. The Washington Commanders are coming in without their quarterback, Carson Wentz. Obviously, on this team, Carson Wentz is going to be fully out. Tyler Heinicke coming in for Commanders. This could be the game that revitalizes the Commanders here moving forward. And if Tyler Heinicke goes out there, he can take Carson Wentz's job if he shows off. Especially since Ron Rivera already blames Carson Wentz for the losses that Washington's had over the season. So the question is, will the Green Bay Packers finally figure it out and start winning on offense and start getting everything going and getting pieces together? Or will the Commanders get a lucky break, beat Green Bay, and will this be the Tyler Heinicke show in Washington? My answer for you and my prediction for you is that the Packers come in here to Washington and they figure it out and they beat Washington barely in this game. I don't think all the kinks are going to be fixed yet here for Green Bay, but they should be able to squeeze out a win against the Washington Commanders. And I wouldn't be completely surprised if Washington actually wins this game against Green Bay and Tyler Heinicke shows out. That's the type of game we're watching, folks. So, yeah. Up next, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Carolina Panthers. Oh boy. What do I have to say about this game here? Carolina is having a shit show right now. I believe they actually just, they fired their head coach. Robbie Anderson just had a freak out the coach and left, basically went to a better team in Arizona. A lot more people, I think, are going to start freaking out on that team and start actually getting themselves traded, in my honest opinion. And there's a reason why, even though Tampa is having a bad season, to say the least, and I mean a bad season, last week losing to the Steelers, somehow, some way, the Steelers upset them. There's offensive woes here for Tampa Bay. The Carolina Panthers are just in a worse spot. They really are. They have no head coach. They have an interim head coach, and their team is crumbling all around them. So I think this is an easy pick here, and that's Tampa Bay winning this game. And I think Tampa Bay is going to figure themselves out during the season. Don't count Tampa Bay out just yet, just because they're struggling early on in the season. Once it gets going for Tampa Bay, they're going to be a train going forward in the NFC. Believe me about that. I don't think they're quite like Green Bay to where they're in a trouble situation here, to where I don't think they can actually fix themselves. I think Tom Brady's more incapable of fixing his own team. His marriage might be a different story, but his team he should be able to fix. But this shouldn't be a contest. Give me the Buccaneers over the Panthers. I don't see the Panthers actually being a legit team to beat Tampa Bay this year. Up next, we got the New York Giants at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh boy, this is interesting because here's the thing. The Jaguars apparently are favored against the Giants by 3 points on Vegas odds. Vegas does not respect the New York Giants this season, and honestly, the Giants are only missing one key factor to be like one of the best teams in the NFL, and that's a quarterback. If they got rid of Daniel Jones, if they didn't have Daniel Jones and they got like someone else to replace Daniel Jones, which they should do next season in the draft, I'm not like Potter that thinks that the Daniel Jones is fine. This is not fine. Only 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I don't think Daniel Jones is the man in New York. It's time to move on. So in this season's proving it. They're 5-1 despite of him, not because of him. Trevor Lawrence is a wishy-washy quarterback. Wishy-washy. Losing 3 of their last 5 games of the season so far, and of course the Giants have won 4 of their last 5. Trevor Lawrence is not impressing me. Last week he didn't have an impressive showing against Indianapolis. I don't see him doing that much against the Giants team. And this is the type of team that the Giants can beat easily. The Giants are one of those teams that they might not have a lot on the roster that can actually like overtake players. Like if you put the Giants against the Bills, there's no way the Giants are beating Buffalo. No way, Cherie. The roster's just not capable of actually keeping up with a team like that. But teams like Jacksonville that are kind of struggling, kind of 2-4, they're kind of subpar. Yeah, the Giants can definitely beat a team like Jacksonville, and you're gonna see it when they do it again, and they go 6-1, and then they be the worst 6-1 team in the division or in the NFL. Yeah, I don't think I do think people are actually overestimating the Giants and the Eagles and the Cowboys a little bit, but it's because of their schedule, and it's an easy schedule, man. And you know what? Kudos to those teams for winning games when they're supposed to win. Nothing you can do about it. Give me the Giants over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Up next, we got the Cleveland Browns heading into Baltimore, take on the Baltimore Ravens. Man, oh man, this is a division rivalry if I ever seen one. Both teams hate each other. Both teams need wins. The Browns have lost 3 straight. The Ravens are kind of a team where they're win-loss. And if the cycle continues, they beat the Browns here tonight in Baltimore. Man, this is a tough game for me to pick, man, because I genuinely can see this game going to the wire and Cleveland somehow pulling it off because Lamar Jackson doesn't show up in the second half. So last season, Lamar didn't show up in the first half and would come out in the second half and get his team back in games and win games. This season is quite the opposite. Lamar comes out swinging in early in the first half, and then he just like fizzles out in the second half, man. I don't know what's wrong with Lamar Jackson this season. I mean, he's carrying this team by himself, yes, and maybe it's kind of like that, like helping, him carrying the team by himself. It might be getting to him mentally, and it might be costing him games here, but like to be losing the way he's losing games, that's the problem. I mean, you had Buffalo on their heels 20-0, 20-3 or 23, I believe, going to halftime, and then you blow a 20-point lead, you blow a 10-point lead against the Giants. I mean, yeah, man, I don't know what the Ravens, but the Ravens, I'm going to go on the train that the Ravens are the type of team that go up and down every week this season. And since they're projected to win this season this week, and then they'll lose next week, I'm going to take them winning against the Browns. I'm not taking Cleveland seriously until they actually have Watson under center for Cleveland. With Jacoby Brissett back there, I'm not really taking two doubts about it. And yes, I know Lamar Jackson and J.K. Dobbins are questionable play in this game against the Cleveland Browns. They're playing. Don't worry about that, Cleveland. Up next, we got the New York Jets at the Denver Broncos. Wow, the Jets. They're 3-0 on the road this season. Last week they beat Green Bay in Green Bay. Whew. Last 5 games, they won 4 of their last 5. They only lost to Cincinnati, and they won a comeback game against the Cleveland Browns, 31-30. This team is something different, aren't they? But they're taking on the Broncos, who, and apparently they're favored by Vegas odds. I don't think the Broncos are that good this season. Russell Wilson has shown it by losing 3 of their last 4 games. Both losses this last week and the week before that to Indy and the Chargers were both overtime losses in low-scoring games. We've seen this team on primetime so many times with Denver. Give me the Jets to beat the Broncos. I don't trust Denver. I don't think Denver is that good of a team. And I think the Jets have a better defense than what people actually think. And the Jets defense is going to go out there and completely dominate the Denver Broncos offense. There's still questions of Zach Wilson. There's still questions right there of Zach Wilson. But hey, they're winning games regardless of if Zach Wilson's actually performing or not. I mean, Zach Wilson only has like what? Well, Joe Flacco has more yards and touchdowns and well, more yards apparently than Wilson. Even though I know that Wilson was hurt, but still, I mean, you've been playing for like what, 4 weeks now? You should at least have 1,000 yards under your belt. Like Flacco only has 901 yards, so how is he above you? But yeah, I'm taking the Jets over Denver. I don't think Denver's actually that good of a team. And I'm pretty sure that the Broncos are... They got Geno Smith in the backfield, man. And what I mean by that is that Russell Wilson traded powers of Geno Smith, and Geno Smith is that quarterback for the Jets. Or the Broncos, I'm sorry. I'm losing my mind here. I'm not used to talking this much. But anyways, up next we got the Houston Texans at the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are coming into this game rested. That's all I gotta say right now about the Raiders. I believe Jacksonville is actually coming in this game rested as well. Yes, they are coming in this game rested. Both coming off of bye weeks. The Texans are just bad, though, man. They are in a bad spot here. Derek Carr should at least be able to find the end zone with the Texans here. Even though the Raiders are 1-4, they're a lot better than what 1-4 should say. And I think that's going to be the deciding factor here in Las Vegas, is that the Raiders are just a better team than the Houston Texans. So give me the Raiders over the Texans. I don't think it's going to be much of a contest. I really don't think the Texans really have a shot at winning this game. If they do, it's because Davis Mills finally pulls out one of his glorious games to where he shows off and makes the man's miss and makes everything happen. But, I mean, I thought we saw it last 2 weeks ago when they beat Jacksonville. The defense showed up and the offense actually scored points somehow. I don't see it happening this week against the Raiders. Sorry, buddy, especially both coming off a bye week. Give me the Las Vegas Raiders over the Houston Texans. The Seattle Seahawks head into Los Angeles, take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Geno Smith has turned into Russell Wilson. He won his last game against Arizona. As for the Chargers, they're on a 3-game winning streak, even if that last win against Denver was ugly and did not look the best. Man, I don't think either one of these teams were going to be... Well, I figured the Chargers would be 4-2, something like that. And the Chargers should have been good. They have a good defense. But I didn't expect the Seahawks to be 3-3 going into this game. I figured they only win maybe 1 or 2 games this season. Maybe beat Russell Wilson, but then lose all their other games. But no, my friends. This is the Geno Smith era of Seahawks. They're not going to go down without a fight. And a fight they show. They fight every team that like it's their last game in the season. So, man, this is such a tough game because you got a Seahawks team that's fights. Pete Carroll's Seahawks fight for wins. And you got the Chargers where their head coach kind of costs them games at times. Analytics coach, man. And that's the bad thing about analytics coach, man, is that they're either gonna be a top team in the divisions and the conferences, or they're going to be a what the fuck are you doing type of teams where you're like, they could be 4-2 if they didn't let the analytics get to them. Give me the Chargers. I think the Chargers are a better team than the Seahawks in general. I don't think the coaching is going to make much of a difference here. I don't think it's really close in talent-wise either. I think the Seahawks are just, if Geno Smith has a good day, Geno Smith has a good day, but that's the only way they stay really in games. They can't really stay in games without Geno Smith actually having those decent days. So give me the Chargers over the Seahawks, because I put more trust into Herbert than I do Russell Wilson. More than I do with Geno Smith. I just do. It's the Geno Smith effect. It's hard to get away from it, guys. Believe me, it's very hard. Up next, we got a game that the Chiefs want to win here badly. It's the Tennessee Chiefs at the San Francisco 49ers. This is a rematch. Who's going to win, Patrick Mahomes or Jimmy G? Mahomes and the Chiefs coming off of a devastating loss to the Bills last week. But that loss doesn't, affect them that much, man. This is still the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't expect them to really lose to that many teams in the division, into series, in the division, in the conference, and in the NFL in general. The Niners came off of a big loss to Atlanta, a surprising loss, a loss that kind of cost them a lot. I mean, a win right there, you'd have an actual one-game lead in your division, but right now, no one has a lead in your division. It's 3-3 for most of the road. The Chiefs are fighting with the Chargers right now for King's superiority of the AFC West. Give me the Chiefs over the Niners. I don't think it's going to be much of a contest. I think the Chiefs are just going to completely blow them out. Mahomes wants revenge after that Buffalo loss, especially with the pick he threw. So, yeah, he's going to want to come out there and show off. And I don't think the Niners really have a chance against the Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen. The defense might keep them in the game, but at the end of the day, it's still Kansas City's ball game, and we're just living in it. So up next, we got Sunday Night Football as the Pittsburgh Steelers heading to Miami, take on the Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa is back. Miami fans rejoice and cheer as their savior comes back. They have lost 3 games since he's got injured, but now he's back. It's time for the winning streak to come back. It's time for them to take over the AFC East, says Miami fans. That's the only thing that Miami fans really say. As for Pittsburgh, you should be 1-5 right now, bud, but somehow the Buccaneers let you guys win. I think Mitchell Trubisky is going to be starting for the Steelers this game. I don't think what's his name is actually fully healthy. Kenny Pickett. Let me just make sure and check real quick. I know Mitchell Trubisky came in last week and won the game for them against Tampa Bay. And they're saying it's Pickett to start, but he's questionable to play. Okay, so if Pickett starts, it'd be an interesting matchup. But the more interesting story here is how will Tua do after his concussions, and if he will get hit again. And if I'm the Steelers, guess who I would be wanting back for this game? TJ Watt. If TJ Watt plays, I think he's still on IR though. I don't think he's playing. But if he gets placed off of IR and he's playing against the Dolphins, that's a bad news for the Dolphin fans right there. Tua might get sacked a lot and might get hurt in that game. But thank God that he's not playing then. The Miami Dolphins are easily the favorite team to win this game, and I'm taking Miami easily over the Steelers. But I don't see it being a blowout. I don't really even see them scoring 10 points. I think it's going to be a 10-6, over 10 points. I see the Dolphins win this game 10-6 against the Steelers in Miami. And also it's a Sunday night game. The weather's not going to be as much of a factor as it usually is for Miami games. So yeah, Miami, you're kind of screwing yourself over by having a Sunday night game, but yeah. And last but not least, we got the Chicago Bears at the New England Patriots. What to say about this game here? How is this a Monday Night Football game, ladies and gentlemen? I don't really know. Justin Fields, I believe last week, I don't think he had a bad day, but I don't think he had a good one either. 190 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I mean, he did better than Wentz, I guess. Cool. The Patriots are on 2-game winning streak. Bailey Zappi looking like the real deal. Mac Jones, I believe, is still out. Bailey Zappi will be in against the Bears. This young quarterback has not faced any real challenge yet, really, have they? I mean, he went toe-to-toe with Green Bay, yes, but after Green Bay, it's been like Detroit and the Browns. I'm not really impressed. I mean, I know the Browns might have a good defense. I said that they have a good defense, but I was not impressed watching that game, watching the Browns defense play. Bailey Zappi took them apart. It made me wonder if it's just me overreacting about the Browns defense, or if the Browns defense is actually just not that good. Or is Zappi actually the real deal? I don't think you're going to see if he's a real deal against the Chicago Bears. In fact, if Bailey Zappi plays, and I'm pretty sure he will, and he has a good day, I kind of expect that from him against the Bears. The Bears are not a good team, in my opinion. And I don't think we're going to see the Patriots actually having a legit challenge until next week versus the Jets. And I can't believe I'm fucking saying that the Jets are going to be a bigger challenge than the freaking Bears. Or 2 weeks from now, because they're on bye week, actually. But you get my point. I think the Jets are going to be a much tougher challenge for the Patriots than any other team is. And by the way, they're coming off a bye week. Ooh. It might be the second Jet game that might be a more challenge for the Patriots, not the first. But yeah, I mean, off a bye week. This is the last game before Patriots go on a bye week. I don't really like the Bears that much this season, man. Just not impressed by them at all. I think they lose easily to New England. I don't think it's going to be a much of a contest. I think New England blows out the Bears. But maybe Justin Fields will prove me wrong. Possibility. But yeah, give me New England over the Bears. I am waiting for that Jet game to see if Bailey Zappi can pass against a good defense. I might be overreacting and kind of praising the Jets a little too much tonight, but no other team has really impressed me this season besides Buffalo. So it's hard to really say what teams are going to do this and that and the other. But ladies and gentlemen, that does it for me for week 7. Hopefully you enjoyed this short, long prediction video. Very short, half an hour long, of me just talking football for half an hour. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. Thank you for watching. Everyone, peace out.